It is mid-January and this grow room is getting ready to start growing some beautiful things. But before that happens, I need to make sure that I have my systems ready to go and things just to the point where I don't have to worry about anything else other than start germinating the seeds. One of the things that I knew that I was going to have to do this year was replacing some of my lights. Last year, I added a third shelving unit, with the one that is back there. And the main reason for that shelving unit was to add space to grow seedlings for my seedling cell. I added that, and I wanted to try different types of LED lights, some that were a little bit better looking. As far as power and lumens and kelvins, they were the same. As far as my other lights that I had here, the style was just different, and obviously the company is a different company. And I didn't have any problems growing the seedlings. Most of the seedlings for the seedling cell were grown using that shelving unit. But one of the things that I noticed was that they give a little bit too much heat. And it's not something that I will have to worry the seedlings just getting burned or anything like that. Although I did make sure that the spacing between the top of my seedlings and the lights was a little bit more than I will give my other seedlings with my other LED lights. Like I said, as far as growing the seedlings, I didn't have any problems. But my problem is that this room where I have my 3 shelving units is on the south side. It has windows that face the south side and it's on the second floor. So it is already very, very warm. And sometimes when I have everything growing here at the peak of seed starting, I do have to open windows a little bit just to make sure that it doesn't get in the 90s in here, because it does get very, very warm. So having lights that produce more heat is not really helpful for me. Now, if I was growing in a basement or a heated garage, I think that these lights will be perfect. And I actually already talked to a couple of people that mentioned that their problem was the room being too cold, or how they could add more heat or more warmth to the room. And I said, the lights that I have back there, those will be perfect. And actually those lights are not going to be wasted. Those lights are going to go to my mom. She's going to be growing in her basement and she can definitely use the extra heat. But personally, I just don't want to have them here. So I went back and ordered my regular strip lights, LED lights, which are the same ones that I'm using for the other 2 shelving units. And the process is going to be the same. Many of you wonder, what kind of grow lights you need for growing seeds, what kind of environment as far as lighting goes. And I just keep things super simple. LED lights, the ones that you use for your garage, for your shed, work really, really great for me. My seedlings are proof that I can grow them with this type of lighting. But I also know that a lot of people really do love their grow lights. And if that's the case, if you want to go with grow lights, go for it. At this point, I was just looking the other day at LED lights versus grow lights, or ones that will be marketed for growing plants indoors. The difference in price isn't that huge anymore. For sure it was 7 years ago when I started looking into grow lights for seedlings. It was not in my budget to get grow lights for all of my shelving units at the time, but today you have more options. As far as myself, LEDs work perfect. So I ordered these lights. I'm going to try to link them somewhere. These are the ones that I have been using since I started growing my seedlings. And the installing of these lights is also super simple. All of these lights do come with their own hanging things. They come with some really cheap, very, very cheap clips. And I have found that those just do not work for me. I did use those clips for my first shelving unit, and sometimes I just bump the light a little bit and they come off. So I started using these types of clamps. I believe these are called tube straps. I find them at Home Depot or at Lowe's. Anywhere where you can find them is fine. You can also find them online on Amazon, I'm sure. But I did get them at Home Depot. I got plenty. And the way that I hang my lights is basically I get one of these pieces of wood that is already primed. I could just get a super cheap piece of untouched wood and it will be fine. But I just want to go a little bit extra. And these were super cheap. I believe that this whole piece, 8-foot long piece, was about $4-5. And I had them cut to the length of that I needed for my lights there at Home Depot. So that was even a plus. So I am going to be using 2 of these pieces. And I use 4 of these strip lights for my lights. And what I'm going to do is that I am going to place 4 strip lights, and then I am going to be holding them to the piece of wood with these straps. Use a little screw and they work perfect. These are 1 inch, and I have found that, I mean, these things are not going to go anywhere. The whole thing can fall apart, can fall on the side, and the lights will still be attached to the pieces of wood and to the shelving unit. So I'm not worried about that. About a month ago from today, from when I'm making this video, about a month ago, I opened a Facebook group, private, free Facebook group for people that are thinking about starting seeds or have been starting seeds for years, and they just want to connect with other people that are doing the same. And a lot of people in that group are first-time seed starter people. And a lot of questions that we're getting is, you know, what are the best lights? Where is the best soil? What are the best pots? And a lot of questions like that. And what I had found is that a lot of people do have their favorites. A lot of people do have their favorite seed starting mix, their favorite lights. This is going to be my year 7th of starting seeds, and I am still upgrading lights. I'm still trying new things that didn't work, like those lights behind me. And every year I do something different to try to get better, healthier, stronger seedlings, and it just never ends. At some point I will have my system complete, and by that time I'll probably have to upgrade because some things are going to be breaking. But seed starting, if this is your first year, it's always evolving. You're always going to find something that maybe it will work better for you. So I am not going to install those lights on this video, but I just wanted to show you. I just wanted to, I guess, give you an update on the lights that I have back there. Those lights with the extra heat are going to work better for some people, but they're definitely not going to be in my room this coming year. Another thing that I am also going to be working here in the next couple of weeks is just reorganizing my seeds. And I did something a little bit different last year, where instead of having these containers individually labeled with what kind of seeds they were, if I had tomatoes, if I had peppers or flowers or whatever variety I had of those seeds, I changed it last year, and I went and divided those seeds by month. I have early March, mid-March, January, February, or I have another one for April and direct sowing. And that worked. That worked really, really well. I was able to just come here and look at my January containers and just deciding, you know, what I needed to do that month. However, the problem that I'm having right now is that when it was time for me to do my inventory, to see what kind of seeds I needed to order, what kind of seeds I wanted to add, if I had any leftover of whatever variety, is that I couldn't remember exactly what month those seeds were in, and I have to go and check almost all of these. Now, that is not necessarily time consuming, but I wasted a lot of time just looking for seeds. And I think that I am going to go back to the way that I had it in the past few years, where I just divide the seeds by variety. And then I'll have some sort of Excel or spreadsheet of some type where I have everything by month. And that way it's going to work a lot better for myself. Again, I tried this way. It sort of worked, but not quite. I wanted to share this with you because I feel like I am always repeating myself on take notes. If you are starting seeds for the first time this year, take a lot of notes. Write it on a notebook. Get yourself a wall calendar or a small calendar where you can write down when you started what seeds, how long they took to germinate, did they make it okay, were there a waste of space, all of those things, because they may not be helpful at the moment when you write them down, but the following year, you're going to love having all those extra notes. And they're going to be really your own guide to decide when you need to start your own things in your own space. As far as this room goes, it's really, really warm. I mentioned that. And I do want to make sure that you guys understand that this room is nice and toasty, and seeds, plants love that. That's why I cannot grow tomatoes for 6 weeks in here, because they will be absolutely huge. The first year that I tried growing tomatoes back in 2020, I started my tomatoes 8 weeks before my last frost date, because that's what the package said that I needed to do. And I had tomatoes that were like 3 feet tall. I just could not handle them. I guess if you're going for that, then that's not a bad thing, but I really could not handle that big of a seedling, especially just for tomatoes. So I make sure that the following year I did 6 weeks. They were still a little too big. Now I know that for myself, for this room, for the way that I am growing things, 4 weeks is plenty for tomatoes. Now that may not be the case for you if you're growing in a basement or if you're growing in a cooler room. So taking notes is really going to help you to decide the following year when you need to start your own things. So this is the calendar, you can probably see it, that I used last year. And I started using a wall calendar last year because I was growing a bunch of things. I started doing a lot of cool flowers, and I knew if I didn't write this down, I was not going to be able to remember. I have here exactly month by month when I started things, if I decided to start other things, and I even went as far as writing on a date, today these seeds germinated, or these seeds have not germinated up until today. And that helps me right now deciding when I need to start all those things. I can see that I started my dahlia tubers for taking cuttings on the 8th of January. Today is the 15th. I need to get that going like soon. So I am going to be doing that this week probably. And that more than likely will be the next video that I show you. But things like foxgloves, feverfews, starflower, buplerium, I started them on the 12th last year. Now I am going to be starting for sure foxgloves and starflowers this week, but I'm going to wait a little bit on buplerium because they grew really big really quickly. So I'm just going to push those probably until the beginning of February so that I can plant them in March, and I'll probably do a couple of successions for those. But again, if I didn't have this information from last year, I will be just sort of guessing again when the best time for me, for my own space, is to grow these things. And I also keep a notebook. This pink one is from last year. This one is a little bit different, I guess. This one is just kind of like thoughts and things that I have for the following years. I did a lot of planning with this notebook. If I'm out and about taking the kids places, or if I'm waiting at the doctor's office, this guy is for me. This guy is just where I write down, I don't know, things like I am going to grow dahlias from cuttings this year. I need to make sure that I give them plenty of time, or check somebody's tuber sale that is coming up, just to make sure that I know when I need to pay attention to what they're selling. Things like that. I love to have a notebook. I already ordered a new one for this year. Little things like that help me stay on track with the systems that I want to have to sort of stay somewhat organized. And it doesn't mean that I have everything figured out. I love going through my seeds. I love looking at what worked and what didn't last year, and just deciding what's going to be the plan for this year. If this is going to be the year where you really want to dive into seed starting for the first, second, third time in a row, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. I will try to do a lot of videos when it comes to what I'm starting, updates on the things that are growing indoors. So if this is the kind of thing that you like to watch, welcome, and hopefully I will see you on the next time.